let's get right into it. If you, especially as an African or African American, if you really want to get an understanding of Buddhism, you are not going to get a clear understanding of Buddhism from the Japanese, period. In fact, when you study Buddhism, you are not really going to get a clear perspective of Buddhism because of the history of Buddhism. Now, let's bring some explanations here to explain why you're not going to get a clear explanation of Buddhism. See, there are two types of Buddhism. Actually, there are three types of Buddhism. Now, when you study the history of Buddhism, it's confusing because there are three types of Buddhas. Now, in Japan, and in Asia, and even among the Europeans, what you get when you study Buddhism, a lot of what you get is what is called Hindu Buddhism. Are you listening? It's called Hindu Buddhism. Now, there's Buddhism, there's Hindu Buddhism, and then there is the Buddhism of Shakyamuni Buddha that explains in the Lotus Sutra. So that's three types of Buddhism. Now, this lecture today actually deals with the racism in Buddhism, because to really understand Buddhism, you have to extricate or get rid of the racism in Buddhism. In order to get rid of the racism in Buddhism, we have to begin to look at our mindset and look at our consciousness as it relates to Buddhism. Now, let's talk about Hindu Buddhism so you can understand it. And we'll explain how Hindu Buddhism got mixed up with Buddhism, and it really contaminates or distorts the whole understanding of the Buddhist teachings. See, the Buddha, or the historical Buddha Shakyamuni, was what you call a Dalit, a Dravidian. He was among the indigenous people of India. See, when you study Buddhism, we got to first of all give you a clear understanding of Buddhism. See, when you study Buddhism from the standpoint of the Japanese, you got to first of all understand that Buddhism did not start in Japan. When Buddhism got to Japan, it didn't get to Japan until 1100 years. I am going to teach a Buddhism that deals with history. And I am going to encourage people to be scientific, to be able to study, to learn. Do not be some common person. And what was that tale they said? Roosevelt said this. He says, I choose not to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity. I refuse to be a kept citizen and humble and dull by the state looking after me. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence. I prefer the thrill of fulfillment to the guaranteed existence. I will cower before the master. I will bend to the threat. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud, and unafraid to say, this is what I've done. So, Anthony Elmore, as a Buddhist, we want to stand proud, erect, and unafraid to be able to tell the truth. So when you begin to study Buddhism and you look at all these racist images in Buddhism and you begin to delineate the Hindu Buddhism from the other Buddhisms, because it's all mixed up. And when you begin to get a sense of history and a sense of study, then you can understand Just like in Memphis, Tennessee, I started to practice Nichiren Buddhism. And Muke Shonin cut me off. Why? Because they don't want you to tell a story. They're not interested in you teaching people a sense of history, a sense of dignity. They would rather tell you, don't come back to the Nichiren meetings anymore. So I'm going to cut it off right here. Let you see for yourself that that is a history that we've never even seen. And there's a great Buddhism here in Nichiren's Buddhism, but the way these people teach it, you're not going to get it. Have a good day. Thank you very much. Since secular matters are the entirety of Buddhism, we teach Buddhism with a good rhythm. Get on up for the Lotus Sutra. Get on up and let it move. Get on up for the Lotus Sutra. Get on up and let it move. Step to the left, step to the right, move to the middle, move to the left. Shake your arm, shake your hip. This song is called the Lotus Sutra. Clap your hands and the right tip. Shut the bottom and the light check. Shake your arm, shake your hip. This song is called the Lotus Sutra. Get on up for the Lotus Sutra. Get on up and let it move. Coming to you, the Lotus Sutra. Coming to you, the Lotus Sutra. Coming to you, the Lotus Sutra. Coming to you, the Lotus Sutra.